It started 6 months before Christmas in a crowded Philippine consulate in Boston, Massachusetts. The line wrapped around the building. Hundreds of Filipinos stood in the cold, clutching documents, waiting for their turn. Inside, Linda Cruz Morrison, a 45-year-old Filipino nurse, sat across from a consular officer. Her American husband, David, sat beside her. On the desk between them were passport applications for their two children, Emma, 16, and Jake, 14. "Purpose of the passport applications?" the officer asked. Linda glanced at David. He nodded. "We're bringing them home," Linda said quietly. "For good." The officer looked up, surprised. But she'd been seeing this more and more lately. Filipino families, after decades abroad, finally coming home. She stamped the applications and smiled. "Welcome back, Poe." What nobody knew was that this moment, this decision, would trigger a movement that would flood embassies around the world and change thousands of lives forever. For months, Linda and David had been planning in secret. Late-night conversations after the kids went to bed, hidden documents in locked drawers, quiet meetings with immigration lawyers. Linda had worked as a nurse in Boston for 20 years. 20 years of night shifts, double shifts, holidays at the hospital, while her family celebrated without her. She had sent money home every month, paid for her siblings' education, built her parents a new house, but she hadn't been home for Christmas in 2 decades. Her children, Emma and Jake, were born in America. They had never truly experienced the Philippines. A few summer visits when they were small, but nothing more. They spoke English, ate American food, lived American lives. They didn't even speak Tagalog fluently. But Linda was tired, bone tired, the kind of tired that sleep couldn't fix. One night, after a brutal 16-hour shift during which she lost a patient, she came home and found David waiting for her in the kitchen. "You can't keep doing this," he said gently. Linda broke down. "I don't know how to stop. This is all I know. Work, send money, work, send money. I'm 45 years old and I feel like I'm 70. David held her. "Then let's stop," he said. "Let's go home." "What about the kids? Their school? Their future?" "Linda," David said, "I've been doing research. I can work remotely. The kids can study in the Philippines. Your family is there. Your mother is getting older. How much longer are we going to wait?" That night, they made the decision, but they didn't tell the kids. Not yet. 3 weeks before Christmas, Linda announced to Emma and Jake, "We're going to the Philippines for Christmas break." Emma barely looked up from her phone. "Okay, cool." Jake shrugged. "Do they have good Wi-Fi there?" Linda and David exchanged glances. The kids had no idea this wasn't just a vacation. The flight to Manila was long. Emma complained about the cramped seats. Jake complained about the food. When they landed and felt the tropical heat, both teenagers groaned. "Why is it so hot?" Emma whined. "Welcome to the Philippines, anak," Linda said with a smile. But when they arrived in Pampanga, something unexpected happened. Linda's mother, Lola Carmen, was waiting outside the house. When she saw Linda, she burst into tears. "Anak ko! Anak ko!" She ran forward and embraced her daughter like she'd never let go. The entire barangay came out to welcome them. Neighbors Linda hadn't seen in decades. Cousins, childhood friends. Children ran around with sparklers. Tables were set up in the street, loaded with lechon, pancit, lumpia, bibingka, and halo-halo. "We've been preparing for days," Lola Carmen said. "The whole barangay is celebrating your homecoming." Emma and Jake stood there stunned. They'd never experienced anything like this. In Boston, they barely knew their neighbors. Here, complete strangers were hugging them, feeding them, welcoming them like royalty. "Emma! Jake!" A group of teenage cousins approached them. "Come, let's play basketball. Do you know how to play tongits? Come, come." Before they knew it, Emma and Jake were swept into the crowd. Emma found herself laughing with cousins her age, learning Tagalog words, trying balut for the first time, and screaming in delight. Jake was playing basketball on the outdoor court, trash-talking in broken Tagalog, fitting in like he'd been there his whole life. That night, as they sat around a long table under the stars, Jake said something that made Linda's heart skip. "Mom," he said, "why did we never come here before? This place is amazing." Linda looked at David. It was time. On Christmas Eve, after the Simbang Gabi Mass, Linda and David asked the kids to sit down. We need to talk, Linda said. Emma's face fell. Oh no, what's wrong? Nothing's wrong, David said. In fact, something's very right. Linda took a deep breath. Emma, Jake, we're not going back to Boston. Silence. What do you mean? Jake asked slowly. We're staying here, Linda said. Permanently. We've already processed everything. Your passports, your school enrollment, our residency papers. This is home now. Emma's eyes went wide. You're kidding. We're not kidding, David said. We planned this for months. We didn't tell you because we wanted you to experience it first, to see what home really means. But, Emma stammered. Our friends, our school, everything. I know, Linda said, tears in her eyes. But I need you to understand something. I left the Philippines when I was 23 years old. I've worked in America for 20 years, sending money home, building a life for you, but I've missed everything. I missed my father's last years. I missed my mother's birthdays. I worked every Christmas, every New Year, every holiday while my family was here without me. Her voice broke. I'm tired, Anak. I'm so tired, and I want to come home before it's too late. Jake looked down at his hands. Emma's eyes filled with tears. But what about us? Emma whispered. David spoke up. Emma, Jake, listen. These past few days, I've watched you come alive. I've watched you laugh more than you have in years. I've watched you connect with family, with culture, with something real. In Boston, you're on your phones 24/7. Here, you're living. And, Linda added, you're not losing anything. You're gaining everything. You'll go to excellent schools here. You'll learn who you really are. You'll have family, community, roots. The teenagers sat in silence. Then Lola Carmen walked over and sat beside Emma. Apo, she said softly, your mother left home so you could have a better life. Now she's bringing you home so you can have a real life. There's a difference. Emma started crying. I'm scared. I know, Linda said, hugging her. I'm scared too, but we're doing this together. Jake finally spoke. Do they have good basketball leagues here? Everyone laughed through their tears. The best, Linda said. Okay, Jake said quietly. Okay. What happened next shocked the world. Linda posted a photo on Facebook. Her family under the Christmas tree in Pampanga, with the caption, after 20 years away, I finally brought my family home. Merry Christmas from the Philippines. We're staying. Within hours, the post went viral. Filipino nurses across America flooded the comments. I want to do this too. How did you process everything? I'm so tired of being away from home. Can this really work? Then David posted his own photo. An American man smiling in a barong Tagalog, surrounded by Filipino family. His caption read, I gave up my American dream for my wife's Philippine dream. Best decision I ever made. This is what family looks like. The post exploded. Foreign spouses of Filipino workers, Americans, Canadians, Australians, Europeans, started commenting. We've been thinking about this. My wife cries every Christmas. How do we start? Within days, Linda created a Facebook group, The Great Homecoming. Within a week, it had 10,000 members. Within a month, 75,000. And then the embassies noticed. Philippine consulates in Boston, New York, Los Angeles, London, Dubai, and Sydney reported unprecedented crowds. The lines stretched for blocks. Families applying for passports, retirement visas, residency papers, Balikbayan documents. One consular officer in San Francisco posted a video. We've never seen anything like this. Hundreds of families every day, all wanting to come home. News media picked up the story. One American man standing in line at the embassy in Chicago told a reporter, my wife sacrificed 30 years for America. It's time America lets her go home. A Canadian woman said, we're spending $5,000 a month to survive here. In the Philippines, we can live like kings and actually see our family. The movement was real. The exodus had begun. 6 months later, Emma stood on the stage of her new school in Pampanga, giving a speech in Tagalog. Her mother watched, tears streaming down her face. Jake had joined a local basketball team and had just won a championship. His team lifted him on their shoulders, chanting his name. David's remote business was thriving. He was earning dollars, living in pesos, and had never been happier. And Linda? Linda woke up every morning to the sound of roosters, the smell of fresh pandesal, and the laughter of her mother in the kitchen. One evening, Emma sat beside her mother and said, "Mom, I'm sorry I was upset when you told us." "It's okay, Anna," Linda said. "No," Emma continued. "I get it now. I understand why you had to come home. And I'm glad you did. Because now I know who I am. I'm not just American. I'm Filipina. And I'm proud." Linda hugged her daughter and cried. That night, as the family sat together under the stars, Linda looked around and realized this was what she had been working for all along. Not money, not success. This, family, home, peace. And across the world, thousands of other families were making the same journey, returning home, reclaiming their roots, choosing family over everything else. The embassies were still crowded, the movement was still growing, and the Philippines was welcoming its children back home. So the next time you see thousands of people rushing to Philippine embassies, remember Linda's story. Remember that behind every application, every passport, every visa, there's a family choosing home. There's a tired nurse who gave her best years away, finally choosing herself. There's an American husband who learned that paradise isn't a place, it's being with the people you love. And there's a Philippines that isn't just a country people leave anymore. It's a country people are finally coming home to. Merry Christmas and welcome home.